Hi everybody, this is Cliff Curry, Superintendent of Red Bluff Elementary. It's been a while since my last video, but things have been moving along in our district. Students have been learning and we've been managing the COVID situation on all the campuses. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Folks may not be aware that in Tehama County, the way that schools have handled being in person with their learning, making sure everybody's wearing masks, keeping cohorts separate. Basically, all of the protocols that we've done have been very effective in suppressing COVID on our campuses. As of right now, there has been not one case of transmission within a school. In other words, nobody has caught COVID from somebody at school. The only cases that we've had have been people arriving to school with it. And of course, then we go through our quarantine protocol and people are then sent home for some period of time and come back. So as we move forward and more people get vaccinated, we are going to continue, and in fact we must continue, to maintain our standards around protocols. That means everybody showing up with masks every day. I've recently heard that many students are sometimes not showing up with masks when they come in the morning. And we're using a lot. What the evidence is, we're using a lot of paper masks, which is fine. We're going to keep supplying those. But what we need for parents to remember is that their student needs to show up to school with a mask, because this is what has kept us safe through the pandemic. It's what is going to keep us safe through the rest of it, and it's also what is going to keep our schools open for business. And I think we all share a common desire to see that happen. I also want to talk a little bit about next year. So we're planning for next year, and that means trying to figure out how many students at each grade level. Right now we have a registration drive going on for kindergarten. You may have seen the video that we put out on our social media. That online registration is happening, it's available. We would ask all parents of incoming kindergartners to get their kindergartner registered. In order to be prepared, we need to be proactive with staffing levels and with sites to know where the students are going to be, how many are going to be there. We're also putting out a survey this weekend through the beginning of next week for all parents of distance learning students. Now, we've done excellent work in distance learning, I think, but we know that what's best for kids is to be in person with their peers and to in a situation and an environment that's as close to normal as we can provide. And we know that you want that too. So we are asking parents to fill out a very simple survey about what their intentions are for next year. Do you want your student to come back in person? Will take you literally 10 to 15 seconds to fill out. Right now we're sitting at about 80% in person, about 20% in distance learning. Is that number going to shrink significantly? We need to know. I just want to thank staff for having continued to work through this pandemic. I think you need to thank your teacher or your paraprofessional or your yard duty or the lady that's on the corner with your students crossing the street. They all deserve your thanks for showing up during a pandemic and making sure, even despite the risks that they're taking, that your student is receiving the education they deserve. Help me out with doing that, because believe me, the rest of the state is not open for business when it comes to in-person. We have done something in Tehama County and some of these local counties that is not being done in most of California. We should be proud of that, proud of the results that we've gotten, but we should also be aware and remember how that was possible. So thank you for everything you've done. Make sure you thank one of your educators for it as well. Thanks.